how does the man
the fault? We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
Hey! It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Williams, she's a longtime Foreign Service officer who, as you mentioned, she was assigned to Vice President Mike Pence's national security team this past spring. So she is his special advisor for Europe and Russia. And as you mentioned, she listened in on that July 25th call in question between Presidents Trump and Zelensky. And she also accompanied the vice president to that September 1st meeting in Warsaw, where Pence met directly with Zelensky. Pence, after that meeting, told reporters that he did not speak with Ukraine's president about the Bidens, but that he did talk about corruption. And he did talk about that withheld military aid that was meant for Ukraine to counter Russian aggression, that military aid that was authorized by this Congress. So the thinking is that Williams can shed light for House investigators into just how much Pence knew about Trump's Ukraine maneuvers. Now, earlier this morning, I hit up Williams' attorney, and he gave me this statement. He says this: Jennifer is a longtime dedicated State Department employee. If required to appear, she will answer the committee's questions. We expect her testimony. Look at this. We expect her testimony will largely reflect what is already in the public record. Well, think about that for a moment. Okay. What is in the public record? Right now, you have 6 fact witnesses, 4 of whom who've testified privately before House investigators, who have spoken directly to the existence of a quid pro quo, of a bribery plot, of a shakedown. You know, insert your chosen phrase. Williams, I'm told, was concerned about what she heard on that July 25th call, but that she did not flag her immediate superiors about it. So you can imagine that House investigators today, staff, are going to get an earful.
I know nothing.
He knows nothing. So that's a you and your little dog too moment, isn't it? That is obviously the House Intelligence Committee, the House Oversight Committee, the House Foreign Affairs Committee, taking the deposition of Jennifer Williams, who is a State Department employee detailed to your little dog too, Mike Pence. And so much for the crap yesterday from the GOP, whose ever-changing rationale for still supporting this criminal president was that, and this was yesterday, well, Ukraine didn't even know that we were withholding aid. And I told you, when we were reading Bill Taylor's testimony yesterday to you, you know, the excerpts, obviously Bill Taylor said that Zelensky was told by Mike Pence in Poland that the aid was being withheld and that everything was conditioned on Zelensky getting in front of a microphone, going on CNN. And Zelensky agreed to do it. He was like moments away from going on CNN and trashing Joe Biden and taking the heat in his country, in this country, for getting into an American political election, because Donald Trump has turned the entire State Department under Mike Pompeo into one giant political organization. In fact, he did it with his charity, too. This is just in, okay? For those of you who don't remember, the dissolved Trump Foundation, remember that little charity, hoax? Remember that little charity scam? Remember that little charity lie? Well, apparently, here, let's refresh. Let's all revisit what exactly the Trump Organization is.
The Trump Foundation was originally created to donate money to charitable causes, but Donald Trump stopped contributing his personal funds a decade ago, instead relying on other people's money, like WWE's Linda McMahon, who, with her husband, reportedly donated $5 million. But the New York Attorney General alleges the money didn't go to charitable causes at all, but instead helped pay off Trump creditors and help the then candidate win the White House. Donald Trump has denied the foundation did anything wrong. Yet the lawsuit says during the presidential campaign, Trump allegedly used the foundation for his own benefit by using foundation money to settle a dispute with Palm Beach, Florida, over a flagpole he put up at Mar-a-Lago. The town agreed to waive $120,000 in unpaid fines if Trump's club donated $100,000 to a charity for wounded veterans. The donation was instead paid by the Trump Foundation. According to the Washington Post, Trump's foundation also allegedly paid $12,000 for a football helmet signed by then Denver Broncos quarterback Tim Tebow. Trump's foundation also allegedly paid $20,000 for a 6-foot-tall portrait of Trump painted during a gala at Mar-a-Lago, and another $10,000 for a painting of Trump himself at another charity gala.
Trump had used it to buy things that basically he shouldn't have bought, things that he should have paid for with his own money. He used his charity's money to buy it.
The Attorney General's lawsuit accuses Trump and his 3 eldest children, who are on the board of the foundation, of persistently illegal conduct. That includes allegedly using foundation money to hold a campaign rally disguised as a charity event before the all-important Iowa caucuses.
All right, so Donald Trump used the Trump Charitable Foundation as a campaign slush fund is what he did. He also used it to pay off creditors. He also used it to pay off other legal settlements. It was not a charity at all. So today, a judge has ordered that President Donald Trump pay $2 million to a bunch of nonprofit organizations in his settlement with the New York State Attorney General's office. Trump said back then in January, when he was asked about turning his charity into a political slush fund for his own political benefit, just like he's done with the State Department. See, everything has to be dedicated to Donald Trump's re-election. Everything's got to be dedicated to Donald Trump's initial election. Everything that Donald Trump could do, legal, illegal, he did do. And today he was ordered to pay $2 million. And back in January, he was telling his people at I will not settle. I vow to fight. This is all fake news. Fake news, everybody. My charity is a charity. And then the charity had to be dissolved. And now today the judge ordered that he pay $2 million to the people he ripped off. This lawsuit was filed in 2018. And it also names his 3 kids. It names Junior, Ivanka, and Eric. It says that they all violated federal and state campaign finance laws and that they abused the foundation's tax-exempt status. It was little more, this is what the lawsuits allege, and this is what he settled with. It was little more than a checkbook to serve Mr. Trump's business and political interests. Do you think that he treats the State Department with any more reverence than he treated charities for wounded warriors? I mean, just please give me a break. This man is such a fraud. He is such a con man. You know, listen, Scaramucci was on TV and he was trying to explain why these Republicans who get into his orbit start parroting him and defending him. He said, you know, listen, you don't know Donald Trump. He's like freaking David Koresh. Okay, he's a cult leader.
Look at what happened in Virginia. Look at what happened in Kentucky. Look what happened with Ambassador Sondland today. Every day is a bad day for the president. And so if you're a stock market investor like I have been for 30 years and you're watching the differential and you're actually watching the chart of descent of Trump's presidency, it's very, very bad for him, and it's compounding. And
but the markets, I mean, despite all the chaos that's going on so far.
Well, the stock market's being levitated by the Federal Reserve. You've had 3 cuts by the Federal Reserve, and they're also purchasing assets now. But I'm just using a stock market metaphor and an analogy to explain what's going on with the president. Last month, he had a very bad month. He went from 43% impeach and remove to 49. That's a 15% increase. And so next month, we're into the mid-50s, and then the month after that, we're into the low 60s. It's going to be very, very bad for the Republicans. And the Republicans are now nervous now. Those congressmen...
That's what I was going to ask you. Are they going to begin to distance themselves from this president?
Well, not yet. Not yet, because that's what I was trying to say last night. It's a whole David Koresh, bonding and cult-like behavior. He shames people that leave him. He'll out them on Twitter, or he'll bully them, and they're very fearful of him.
Isn't that special? We have David Koresh as president of the United States, who defrauds Wounded Warrior charities, buys his own paintings, buys football helmets, just uses everything at his disposal. And we have given him the whole of government, right? Except for the judicial, well, I won't say that, except for the Congress. And he's using all of it for his own political elevation. All of it is a political endeavor.